fight on this point.
Potentially, and I mean, I honestly think you get a lot. Oh, hold on! Oh my gosh, can't get away from that, fam. And yeah, that will be the final nail in the coffin. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to finish this and win out the series, and they have ult advantage now. This is a turn of events, Misfit.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting. A very poor defense there. It doesn't really seem like the spam comp knew what to do against this dive comp. They kind of got their focus split by they lost the duels that the dive comp was faking. I just watched an execution onto that Sigma.
Yeah,
he got destroyed.
Oh my gosh. Oh, get bodied. All right. Well, all right. Death Ball coming out here. Zarya's grabs. These are good.
Squish is going to find a lot of trouble trying to hit that ball. They don't have a shield, so his shatters are free, but that's if he can actually charge one before they can manage to complete this map.
Big sleep as well.
Oh, yeah. I missed
I'm off the Bob. Gets in. I mean, this is good disengage coming in from K9. Unfortunately, they will lose their supports in the process, so I'm guessing they are going to commit, I guess. I don't know what they're trying to do here. I think they're just baiting out ultimates here at the moment while they just sort of walk away from this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a comp switch here for the attackers, especially... Oh, no. Mines. Okay, they will finally be switching comp. Excuse me. They really baited me there. But yeah, they didn't have a lot of ults there, and the dive composition, of course, doesn't really rely on the ults, so they can't really use them to win fights as well. So they're switching to a more tried and true spam comp, trying to beat the step ball, and I think they have a definite advantage here.
Certainly have this elbow on lockdown in theory. See if they're able to get the follow-up, though. They've lost the Brigitte, but they've managed to trade it out. But Squish, all right, that's the value of a Reinhardt. It's in a tight room. It's going to swing the hammer. Mouse one, you're done.
Yeah, and I got to give that to Dastrius, who had an absolutely great play. Anteed 3 is able to take the Brig with them, and then they are able to nano their Ryan. Squish just gets the value out of it. Really good plays from your Ana. Definitely what you want to see. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you're going to be running an Ana in this meta, you need to be a playmaker, and Dastrius really making the case for it with that play right there.
60 seconds remaining.
Well, 60 seconds remaining. Not a lot of ultimates to the name. Swaps that came in a little soon. No way to block that shatter, and everybody will go down once more. 45 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I gotta admit, though, if you're the attackers, that is the best possible loss fight you can hope for there. You died instantly, and it was to a Rhine Shatter, so they didn't really get a lot of their other ultimates off. They do have this Grav, which of course isn't ideal, but they don't charge any of their other ultimates really. They don't have a Nano, they don't have a Sound Barrier because you didn't do any damage to them, so no support ults for the defenders going into this fight.
Yeah, but you got a Grav now. A lot of damage to their name. They don't have anything that's spam. They don't have that pure firepower. The rally. They gotta commit to this. 10 seconds left. They have no other choice, Misfit. They're going in, and it is either do or die now if they want to get this map over with. As they are about to go in and push this cart, they finally get her around the elbow, but it's now into overtime. They can't leave the point.
Yeah, and they are on this transitional comp here. They do have the ball instead of the Sigma, so a lot different now. Of course, Drumeye is building that minefield very quick, can be very beneficial.
Oh, the wall! It might get squishy if they can follow up enough. Dong is going to go down, and there it is, but the trades are going in. King Raptor's not going to be able to come back in time. It's a very slow hero, and it might be just, so close but so far. And we finally see the potential reverse sweep coming into effect here.
Yeah, absolutely. A very good job by Manipulus, really coming up big in the final moments of that map. The Brawl comp, I gotta admit, I had some questions about it, but they're able to make the plays. Really, really solid job from them, and they have gotten themselves back in this series. Of course, it is still, match point here for the side of K9 Munich, the 6-0 All-Stars of this division. So they aren't in the worst spot, and it is their map pick too. So they do have the advantage of that going into this next map.
Yeah, it's very easily could be a 3-1, but Manipulus showing some life here and showing some great coordination, and we now finally saw a sort of a desperate side of K9. So we'll find out if the next map will be the indefinite, or will we finally see a map 5 coming into play here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to potentially the last and final map still. However, there could also be that reverse sweep. So get ready for your creepy emotes to come out and chat, y'all. It's about to get down into the nitty gritty. Hanamura is our next map, and this is technically K9's first time to counterpick a map. So that being said, Misfit, Hanamura, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those everybody's maps kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hanamura is definitely going to be spam on both sides. I can't imagine anything else being run. Even if you run like the Symmetra strat, you're probably going to run mostly a spam composition. Especially because second point, you really can't get value out of any sort of like brawl comp or dive comp. It's just not going to find the value. It's too enclosed. There's too many tight chokes you need to walk through if you're the offense. So I would expect to see a spam mirror on both sides. But there are some variations we could run here. Echo can be played here. Junkrat gets some play here. We can see Torbjorn, Ashe. I've seen Hanzo get run here. May is really good for that first choke. And Symmetra, of course, on the offense. There are a lot of neat teleport strats teams like to pull off here. So definitely some variation going into this. But of course, the most important part is that this is K9's map pick. So they definitely have the advantage here. And it is match point. So this could be, as you said, potentially the last map of this series.
A lot of things can happen. There could also be very well the May dive, where it's like you get on that high ground, you just ice wall, and then you just jump off into the choke. Or the TP sim strat. Do you think a TP sim strat may happen here? We saw the sims coming in for Lijiang. Would it happen for Hanamura?
We see that in lower elos a lot and ranked, but in like high rank coordinated play, typically teams don't need to rely on it in order to get through this choke. Obviously, this choke is notorious for getting full held at, especially in ranked games when you have the Reinhardt who just wants to sit a choke and be like, haha, why are DPS not getting any picks? Like, gee, I wonder. I might be a little tilted. It's fine. But yeah, I definitely expect to see more of traditional comps. I don't really expect to see the sim strats coming out. Definitely not as good in these higher reloads. There are a lot of counterplay to it. You can auto-nade it, you can junk-nade it. Like there's so many ways you can counter it that I would not expect to see it in a division as high as this.
I never roll anything out, no matter what the elo is, because quite frankly, sometimes it all meshes together to me. It just comes down to whether the team is good or not. So that being said, you're probably right. However, I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't say I wanted to see it, because it's kind of funny and it's really fun, and it really shows a lot of cracks in the wall as well. It sort of exposes a lot of teams because it just doesn't really come up in a way that you just expect it to work, but it does because nobody expects it. It's like the Spanish Inquisition of Overwatch comps and specific maps. It's very powerful. We are just waiting for these teams to get started and get ready up in these lobbies. But is there any other things you would like to say for Manipulus in order to tie this series up for them?
Well, I think they won the fights they needed to rather on the last map, and I need to see them do the same thing. They need to be consistent throughout. They can't just have some big pop off plays, some big diva bombs, some big DPS plays. They need to be more consistent throughout the map if they're going to have a chance of beating the solid K9 unit roster. As we get into Hanamura here and start seeing what compositions they pull out here, I got to be honest. In one of the games I casted for a different league a couple of months ago. On Hanamura, there was a lot of ball dive that got run here. Like throughout the league, ball dive was just the meta on this map, and teams were just so good at executing off of it. So I don't actually rule out that possibility that we will see that. Ball dive is my favorite variation of dive. I find it very beautiful to watch how much happens off of the pile drive. It's like pile drive, anti-nade, Genji dash, all this stuff just comes together, and it can be a very beautiful display of destruction. But of course, none of that. We are none too lucky to see something like that. It looks like we will be having spam mirrors on both sides.
Big question of the DPS, though. Looking at the Pharah coming out on defense.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I just don't usually see it. And usually when we see it, it's kind of like Echo.
Yeah, I definitely think the Echo is a better pick than the Pharah, but Vegeta, of course, had that beautiful 6K on Night Market. Definitely a pick they're very comfortable on. It does look like we will actually be seeing the sim strategy coming out from the offense, so I guess you made me eat my words. That is something that we can see in an elo this high, but the question is, will it find the value it needs to? Because they don't really have anything to take care of the Pharah of Vegeta, who, of course, is very talented with that character.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see what happens here. I mean, it depends on how they want to handle the TP. They want to go to the high ground, and they're already split up here, and this may fall apart very quickly. That being said, K9 falling back. No, I'm sorry. Manipulus is falling back, giving the space. They could have jumped on that. The team is kind of split up, and now they're together. Seems like a very good opportunity for K9 to just go ahead and wrap things up. They don't have the turrets set up on point though, so not really sure where this value of the Symmetra is going to come in, but you know, never say never.
Barrage.
Oh yeah, that's right as well. Vegeta has a barrage because they are very good. But I mean, maybe this tactic of ignoring the player, and they only get one Delta going down. This is already going to be taken very quickly, and yeah, I mean, this was very questioning from Manipulus, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said during the fight, is that they should have jumped on the split team. I completely agree with that. They mess up their teleporter. Typically, when we see that teleporter through the window from Ramen Shop, it goes all the way to that like top high ground on the right there, not like to that one like small little high ground. And they could have capitalized on that way better. But unfortunately, they allow K9 Unit to regroup and to buy time for themselves, and they're able to use that coalescence to push in and win the fight really, really cleanly. Able to pretty much ignore Vegeta's barrage altogether, and now Vegeta will be onto the May here. We'll get some value in this tight show, but the Symmetra strat, they will be doing the teleport from stairs, which I actually really like.
I do like it too, though we'll see if they can survive long enough for this. It might be just a dry push. However, that being said, Rainy Day able to get 2, but they managed to trade in kind. That being said, an ice wall will make everything be destroyed. And also on top of this, Rainy Day now has the high ground with the Deadeye.
Yeah, and this is really good for the defense here. You're able to stabilize here with a lot of ultimates. There is a lot of Qs on both sides here. We can't rule that out. They will swap off of the Symmetra on the attacker side over to the more consistent McCree pick. The only real difference in these two teams right now is the healing. Definitely a lot more brawly healing duo coming out for the attackers, whereas the defenders have a much more sustainable and high impact healing composition.
They do, and also anti-nades are just so delicious. We've seen a million Annas just
Delicious.
get out of it here. I mean, it is such a chef kiss that you would use delicious here. But speaking of delicious, coalescence coming in here, but the blizzard may be enough to stabilize here, as they do have spawn advantage, and it looks like unfortunately some ults are just going to be left with no value found in them.
King Raptors switched all into the legs.
Okay.
Interesting. I mean, like, I like seeing Soldier play, but is that really the best pick into double shield? Like, we got to ask ourselves, is that going to get the value you're looking for? And it looks like no, he's going to switch back over to the May. Perhaps a miscommunication there on if there was a comp switch or not. They do have the supercharger. Delta will have that pushing into this next one, and Drumeye will get his Sigma ult in this fight, but he's going to also have to be charged with stunning Jordan out of his Sigma ult.
Or get slept on, noob, as the Lucio will just get slept from a million miles away. I don't even know how you get it from that angle. That was very interesting. I would love to see a replay of that again at some point, but the moment here, sort of pushing in his group, they are juggling the shields, which is really smart of them. That is big. 2 of them gone. They still have the spawn advantage, but they're able to set up here, and this is great. They get Vegeta as well. Oh my gosh, this is massive. Ravidic Flux will come in, get the Ana. They're out of there. They get the Samurai to push in aggressively. They will at least find a tick. This is a lot of ultimates, I will say, without knowing if you can guarantee the pick, but I suppose if your target prioritization here will work out, a Sky will be able to get Jordan and stop everything in his tracks. And you know what? I'm happy with being wrong here. Nicely done from the K9 unit. They will be able to just take care of these stagger comms coming in very effectively, and that is a nice, healthy time making I've ever seen.
This is the incredible decision-making that I was talking about earlier in the series from K9 Unit. They see that the McCree and the Sigma are playing it off angle. They know that the Sigma has ult, and so they go hard on him. They amp speed, take out the McCree, follow up with the Sigma, and now they do not have a win condition on the defense, and they're able to easily win that point. Very good attack there from K9 Unit, able to capitalize on what seemed to be a decent composition. I mean, that's typically where we see Sigmas play. They typically do play that off angle, but Jordan not ready for that aggression. K9 Unit really doing a great job there. Excellent decision making and very well deserved map win, or not map win, but round win. What's the term I should use there?
I think it's round win.
Round win. We'll take that.
Yeah. Very good push.
Very good push. That's good.
Very good job. Very good job.
Good job. Everyone gets a gold star. Good job, everyone.
Everybody gets a gold star. Everyone gets at least one cookie of your choice from the Oreo variety pack that you get at Great Value Walmart. It's pretty good. You should try it. Anyways, looking at the defense here, we do see the Torb coming out. It's not going to be the Pharah, and I feel like K9CC is on point.
Yeah, I really like the Mei Torb composition, but I also like the healing duos that they brought out here. They brought the Ana with the Baptiste, so they will have a lot of playmaking potential in their support line with anti-nades, eye fields, and damage from your Bap. They will be doing a sim strat of their own. They don't put a Lucio to get the choke fast. That's a little bit interesting to me. They do have the Ryan Sigma spam comp, though. Could be interesting. Oh, they're screwed. Oh, bye-bye, Ryan.
Bye, Squish.
Bye, Stem.
Bye, Rainy.
Nice knowing y'all.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, Misfit, would you like to talk about why that didn't work?
Well, there's a couple reasons. The primary one is that they were expecting it, and they were able to make the rotation very, very well. And not everyone went through the teleporter or it got destroyed quick. I didn't see, but they just get dominated, and it's 2 quick picks. This Mei Torb composition has a lot of spam damage and a lot of utility, and it's going to be hard for the attackers to push into this if they do not deal with that.
Yeah, no words to say except that this is already looking like a good smart disengage from K9. And also ultimate-wise, you know, with the swaps coming in, they do have a little bit of an advantage. The Silence Watch does almost have that nano boost coming online. DJ Ambulance almost goes down, though. They do have to disengage a little bit and stabilize here. But here comes the window, and we've seen them get value out of it countless amount of times. With that being said, though, it's me what words. Oh, it looks like they are not ready for Rainy or Vegeta to hang out in the back line, and the DPSs are working together, trying to get each other's picks, do some damage, get some follow-up, and that's sometimes what we've been missing from Manipulus is that follow-up, and this is exactly what you want. Here comes the barrage, gets eaten here, does find Delta as they desperately try to cling on to this point just to burn more time up the time bank, but that is going to be the win for Manipulus.
Yeah, the question here is going to be, does Vegeta stay on the Pharah going forward here? He does have the Mercy back, and the Mercy does have Valk, as Sky tries to stall this point as long as he can. But I would like to see more of an Echo on this. Echo is much more flexible than Pharah, can do a lot more work, can play the offing a lot more clean with the flight ability, which is much quicker than Pharah's flight, so they can engage and disengage much quicker. They will decide to stick onto it, but there will be a double hit scan composition coming out for the defenders, which is going to struggle against the double shield, but not against the Pharah.
Sleeps are also super helpful as well, and we have seen that there's been very accurate sleeps coming in from both Anas, respectively. So we'll see what happens here. At the moment, though, Bob might be able to get the first tick for them. We'll see if that is able to come through, as they do have to drop down to the low ground. Finally do get the Bob. I mean, they're set up in a way that they have a good crossfire going on right now that is just sort of going to be like a car wash wiping them up. They do sacrifice a tick. Will they sacrifice a second? Doesn't seem to be the case. Narrowly getting the second tick lost here, but I mean, at the end of the day, they do hold on to the point, so good on them on the side of K9.
Yeah, absolutely. And Drumeye there with a good play stuns Jordan out of his ultimate, which could have been a lot more impactful. You mentioned the crossfire that King Raptor and Drumeye had set up there. This is one of the best points in the game for Ashe. Even before she became meta, we saw teams like Atlanta Reign and the Overwatch, they run the Ashe there on that like high ground off to the right if you're defending. It becomes very, very hard to push into that because the Ashe has a good natural cover, good sight lines, and her team is usually not playing with her, so it sets up that crossfire that can be really hard to deal with.
It seems tough to deal for them, just in the sense of like knowing where to focus. They maybe should take a page out of K9's book and just sort of do the go around and just sort of set up somewhere. Ice Flow is pretty massive already off the bat, though. Manipulus able to get Drumeye, which is pretty big, and they're going to drop Delta on the Nano Boost just to keep them alive, and it might be good enough for them. Able to stabilize in a pretty massive way, and they'll be able to keep it going. A little bit expensive, dropped a couple ultimates here and there, but they managed to burn time off the time bank and have time bank advantage now, actually.
I like how they're playing this composition on the defense here. They look like they have a spam comp, but how they're playing it actually is they're playing very split up. And this Brawl composition is kind of struggling because they're getting picked apart from multiple angles, and they don't really have the resources to deal with it. Now Jordan will switch onto the D.Va, which I would expect to see him go directly onto the Ashe and try to pressure her out, save her team from some of that. But this composition, they have the Odd all the way in the back right. They have the Ashe in the top right, and they have the core of the roster on the high ground there. So very, very interesting strategy, and I gotta say I really do like it.
I'm vibe with it. Oh, massive pin though. Squish does go in. I mean, they now have a little more of an aggressive setup. Tries to find some value with the Shatter. Not going to be the case, but at the moment, oh, they're actually pretty split up. Oh, they're just going to go down once again. There's no real spine to this comp or attack. It feels like they just go in and then kind of hope for the best.
Well, it's like they aren't going aggressively enough. They're kind of like playing too like passive because of how like split up the enemy team is. You need to isolate a target and kill it fast to give yourself an advantage. If you take too long, you will just die. And even though they got a pick there in the beginning, Rainy Day or King Raptor was able to follow up with one on Rainy Day, and it was even. And of course, that favors the defense, which has that spawn advantage. And now we're getting into a minute left here, and not really looking like they have any idea of how they're going to beat this comp.
Oh my goodness, as well as not being able to see something coming in from less than a mile away. Drop the Nano Boost to try to protect Delta. It doesn't seem to be the case, but I mean, it seems like the Shatter's already done enough damage that they're so split up. And again, they're a little all over the place, and it just feels like they go in and don't know where to go.
Yeah, their focus does seem a little bit split here. They are in a lot of trouble now. Is Rainy Day going to get out? No, he is going to be staggered now. That's not what you want to see. There's no real ultimates on the side of, on the side of Manipulus. And they will switch to this Widow here, potentially like trying to play for picks. But it's going to be very challenging with the Widow on this point. It's going to be easy for the defenders to play out of their line of sight. And now a very clear advantage as we get into the final team fight of this map and potentially this series. I don't really know if Manipulus has what it takes to finish this one out.
Well, Vegeta going down right away. That's one person gone. The flashbangs are massive, means that they can go in. Now this chokehold is sort of scary. Dally will come in, but they get eaten, and then Sky is able to take them out. Oh my goodness, everybody is going down. 5 seconds remaining. This is very well it for our friends on Manipulus as K9 unit. They'll just have to deal with them for just a few more seconds, but the self-destruct sequence will spray them out even more further away from each other. And they will just take care of it and clean it up. And there you have it with a 3-1 victory. K9 just needed to have one map pick that went for them in their counter picks, and they will lock it down.
Yeah, and they will be going ahead and becoming a 7-0 team in the GGEU Advanced Division. Excellent win from them. They definitely deserved it. It was a closer match than the scoreline would believe, or the scoreline would lead you to believe, rather. But I really enjoyed what I saw from K9 Unit. They had a lot of good playmaking, but Manipulus should not be too down on themselves. They had a lot of good moments. Squish was playing out of his mind for most of the game, and I believe that they have a lot of potential. They just couldn't put it together. They couldn't find it in themselves to win the map in the final hours of this match. Congratulations to K9 Unit for taking the win.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Well done. I agree with you. Manipulus is they still have a positive win record, and it shows very much in a lot of their plays. They just need to make sure that they don't take their foot off the gas when they think they had it locked down. You need to make sure that every inch of your home is away with pests. But that is going to be us for the EU. Later today, you are going to be joined by NA. Thank you very much to our productions, Night of Me, V, Druid. I'm going to butcher a lot of names. I'm sorry. But also thank you to our wonderful lobby host and Mr. Moderators, Mr. Moo. And then also thank you to our chat mods. Thank you to Elo Hell for providing a wonderful platform for people to grow and develop their skills in many ways, being a player, caster, production observer, or chat moderator, or graphics person, whatever you so desire. Make sure to join the Elo Hell community and join the Elo Hell family if you feel like you have something to offer, which everybody does. But with that being said, I have been Bemi, along with me has been my wonderful co-commentator, Misfit, and we will see you next time.